for sale by owner? Well, today I wanted to address for sale by owner. Yes, you can buy a house that is listed for sale by owner. Usually, a seller puts their home on the market for sale by owner, and the main reason why houses are listed for sale by owners is because sometimes the seller wants to save a little bit of money, because if you don't have to pay a real estate commission, you get to keep all that money, right? So I wanted to talk about that just to give you some tips, what to look for if you really are wanting to buy a house for sale by owner and you don't want to use a real estate agent. So the truth is, you can buy a house without using a real estate agent, right? But why would you when you can? And that is just how I feel. Why would you want to buy a house without a real estate agent when you can use a real estate agent, and when you know that you're not even paying the real estate agent, number one? So it's not really going to cost you anything to use a real estate agent. But if you don't want to use a real estate agent, you're not obligated to, you don't have to. So I'm going to give you step by step what to do if you want to go directly to a for sale by owner and do it like that. You are totally free to do that. The first thing you want to do is you want to do your research and preparation. Now, what I mean by that, okay, if you're buying the house for sale by owner and you're buying it cash, then you want to make sure you have that cash. However, that cash is coming, whether it's coming from, your 401k, you taking a loan against that, whether it's something you have in your account somewhere. Every seller is going to want to see your proof of funds. So whether you're dealing with a for sale by owner directly, or whether you are using financing, they want to see that. So be ready with that. So if you're going to be using financing, then before you start looking at homes for sale by owners, because there are numerous sites that you can look for sale by owners, and usually you find them just driving down the road and seeing the sign, you know what I'm saying? But before you do that, you want to make sure that you're already pre-qualified. Same thing like you were buying with a real estate agent. Just like the real estate agent don't want to show you houses before you're pre-qualified, you don't want to look at any for sale by owners before you're pre-qualified as well. You're not going to tell a for sale by owner, I want to buy a house, but hold on for a couple of weeks for me to go get pre-qualified. Somebody else might come along that's already pre-qualified and they might snatch that house, right? So you're going to do that. First, the other thing that you want to do is you write down your criteria, right? And then you start looking for homes that match your criteria, right? Then you want to make sure that the house that you are falling in love with, or the house that you want, is priced correctly. You don't want to overpay for a house, right? So make sure that you are researching the market to know what homes in that particular area is selling for. If you're not working with a real estate agent, might be a little bit more difficult to find it out, but you can go on Zillow and check. Although Zillow is not 100% accurate, really nobody's really 100% accurate, but you can do your own little research to find out how much the houses in the area are selling for. And there are many ways to find for sale by owner. Now, some people think that just because the house is for sale by owner, so they're gonna get a deal, but that is not necessarily true. Just because it's for sale by owner does not mean that it is a better deal, okay? It just means that the owner wants to sell their house themselves. That's all it means, all right? So bear that in mind. For sale by owner does not necessarily mean cheap, okay? So you want to research the property. Now, once you do your research, Once you find the house that you like, you want to reach out to the seller and you want to schedule a time for you to see the property. Never write an offer to a for sale by owner sight unseen. Make sure you schedule a time to go see the property. I also want to include in there, while you are scheduling that time, please do not go see the property by yourself. We're living a day when it's very dangerous and there's a lot of weirdos out there. So make sure that you have your safety cap on, your safety thinking cap, on. If you go view a property and you don't feel safe, find a way to get out of that property. But always take somebody with you, and do not go view properties in the nighttime. All right? If the seller said, I'll meet you there, that's fine. Just make sure you take somebody with you. All right? Now, once you view the property and you want to make an offer, you can tell the seller about your verbal offer, because it's a for sale by owner. They don't have anybody negotiating for them. You can tell them, hey, you have it. You said you want $250 for this. What about I give you $245? Right? If he says yes, you want to tell him or her, I am going to have my attorney draw up the contract for us so that you can clearly understand the terms in your contract. Some for sale by owners already have their contract and all you have to do is fill it. If you're doing that, take that contract and tell the homeowner, I am going to take that contract to my attorney to have my attorney look over it, and then I will sign and bring it back. But make sure you have a second pair of eyes looking over that contract. And by a second pair of eyes, I don't mean your husband, I don't mean your friend, I don't mean and whoever. I'm talking about get you, if you're not using a real estate agent, get you a real estate attorney that can help you. I also want to include right here, you are always free to bring in a real estate agent to help you. All you have to do is tell the seller, I am working with a real estate agent. Would you be willing to pay the real estate agent's commission? Some of them will say yes, and some of them will say no. Usually they say yes because it's half of what they would pay if they had to hire a realtor themselves. So if the other way that can be done sometimes, if the seller says no, sometimes the buyer would negotiate with the real estate agent and say, well, I will pay a commission, if you help me out, if you work with me like that. So that's a way to go about it. But if you choose not to, please make sure you are using your attorney to help you with the paperwork. Again, don't forget, you can negotiate. Just like I said, if it's $250, you want to offer $245, negotiate back and forth until you guys come to an agreeable term that you can both work with. All right. The other thing I want to encourage you to do as well is once you get on the contract, after your attorney has read it and you guys are on the contract, please make sure that you're doing a home inspection, especially if you're not buying this house because you want, some kind of investment opportunity, you want to flip it, or you want to make sure you do it. If it's something that you say, I want to buy so my family and I can live in, make sure you are doing a home inspection. And again, there are many choices out there. Pick one, but do a home inspection. If you're using a VA loan, you're going to have to do a termite inspection as well. So just make sure you are not passing up the steps. Sometimes when a house is sold for sale by owner, the owner usually have an inspection that is, well, I already did an inspection, I'll just transfer it to you. No, you want to do your own inspection, because your inspector might find things that the home seller's inspector did not find, okay? And another thing I want to encourage you as well, when you're doing that home inspection, usually when we do inspections for buyers, the agents, like us, we show up at the inspection to make sure that our inspectors are doing what needs to be done, and just to have a second pair of eyes in there. So make sure you're attending your home inspection when you're doing that. A tip for you is this: some home sellers will kind of hide a lot of the defects of the home. They'll hide it with, sometimes they'll put an appliance like a stove or washing machine or dryer in front of a hole, you know, or they'll put the washer and dryer in front of the HVAC system, so it makes it almost impossible for them to get back there. What I would encourage you to do is, if you can ask the seller to move some of those things, they're not gonna move all those things. They're not gonna rearrange their house for you. But if you kind of have a feel that there's something going on behind these walls or something, ask the seller to move. Can you pull the washer and dryer away so that I can have access? Because your inspector is not pulling anything. They're not moving anything. They're really not even lifting up anything per se, right? What their eyes can see, that's what they're inspecting. So if the seller did not move the washer and dryer that is in front of the HVAC system, guess what? That HVAC system is not going to be inspected, right? And you know, we've had many incidents where sellers have hidden defects, and then after you close and they take the washer out, there's a big hole there. That we could have found out if we just said, can you move the washer and dryer so I can get back there to inspect certain areas. So make sure you're doing that. It is a for sale by owner. If they want to sell their house, they will cooperate with you, and you have to be reasonable. You're not going to tell them, move the bed, move this. No, I'm just talking about stuff where you feel like there's something going on behind there, like you see a water stain somewhere and you feel like this water stain maybe goes deeper. Your inspector is not going to move anything to look for those things. So you do want to bear that in mind. Again, once you're under contract, you do your inspection, you're most likely working with a title company or an attorney. Again, most for sale by owners usually use attorneys. Some do use title companies. So whichever one they choose, you'll work with them. Remember, if you choose your title company, sometimes they try to transfer their fees onto you. So just make sure you are paying attention to that you pay your fees and seller pays their fees. Because sometimes they will put in, if buyer chooses title company, then buyer must pay seller fees of what, you know what I mean? So you do want to pay attention to that. Make sure you're doing all your due diligence. Make sure you're not feeling rushed to do this, because it is a for sale by owner. You don't have anybody in your corner telling you what to do, and you don't want to miss out on things. If it's a cash offer, it can probably happen very quickly. However, if it is a financing offer, it's probably going to take the same steps, the same amount of time that it takes if you were using a real estate agent. So you do want to make sure you're doing your due diligence. You want to make sure you're still getting an appraisal on the property, and make sure that if you find anything during the inspection, that you can go back and negotiate with the seller. If you guys have agreed upon something that he should fix or she should fix, make sure that that is done before you get to the closing table. So I would advise you to work with a real estate agent, but if you choose not to, make sure you're using a real estate attorney to help you to navigate the for sale by owner process. It's basically the same thing, same steps, but you just want to make sure that you have somebody in your corner. Yes, you can buy a for sale by owner. Also, yes, your real estate agent can help you with a for sale by owner. And no, Just because it is a for sale by owner does not mean that you're getting a better deal. This is your girl Giselle with Homeowner Real Estate. I enjoy turning renters into homeowners. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share with your friends and family, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.